Hello, everybody. Hi, Miss Teresa. Hi, Brenda, Alex, and Miss Lorraine. How y'all doing today?
Fine. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Good, good. I'm blessed
Hi,
and
Kim.
highly
Hi,
favored.
Brenda.
Thank you.
How are
Good.
you?
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good. I'm about to be on my way to the library.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, I made sure I started the meeting. So, I hope you're having a good day.
Yep, I am. Every
Alex, I
day
got
is
to
a
make an
good
appointment
day.
to come see you too, Alex. It's Kim Johnson because my iPad keep cutting off. I mean, I need to call tech for that, but I got a couple of things I just want you to help me with. So I will set up an appointment with you.
Okay, great. Just go ahead and call our help desk and they'll let you know what libraries are going to be upcoming.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Kim, are you going to attend the mayor's holiday thing?
I don't think I'm gonna do it because I had this lupus and this fatigue is just too much for me. It's too much. The standing and I can't sit for a long period of time. So
okay, I understand.
I would love to go though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. This will be my first time, so I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So they say Washington Hospital Center is booked. They're closed. They're not accepting any more patients because they are overflowed. They said the wait is 17 hours.
Really?
And I believe it.
Yeah, because of the virus and the RSV and the COVID, they said they is overflow.
Oh wow!
Not only Washington Hospital Center, but all of them.
I kind of figured that. A lot of people sick. This virus ain't gone nowhere.
No, but these people don't believe it.
They sure don't.
This is crazy.
It is. It really is. And then a lot of people still traveling. A lot of people still traveling out of town. And, I tell you, I don't know why. I guess people got to do what they got to do.
No, I got a crazy sister. She ain't got to go nowhere. All she had to do was stay at work. She traveled. She got COVID.
Wow.
Lost her mind on a cruise.
Right.
Oh no.
Didn't they hear about the cruise that got stuck out there before?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I called her a dumb fool.
Well, wherever I go, I'm gonna have my mask on.
I ain't never took mine off, and
Me
I still
either,
caught
Kim.
it.
Me
and
either.
Still caught it.
How many of y'all have had the shots?
I have all of mine.
I had all of mine.
I did too, but guess what? You got twice as many nutcases out here talking about, oh, I ain't taking it. They just trying to kill us.
I know. You can't convince them. Yeah.
I know that's right. And I got a girlfriend. She told me don't mention it to her no more. About getting that flu shot, about that COVID shot. I said, okay, I won't say a word.
I have one of them too. Supposed to be a friend. You know what I told her? I'm sorry, but you can't come back.
I know that.
I ain't trying to catch you.
I mean, you got to protect yourself. So you have to protect yourself, especially if you got small kids,
No, I got underlying illnesses.
Exactly.
I catch it at all. I had to talk my daughter off of this because she caught it at work. Her mama ain't gonna make it. You gonna make it, girl. Don't even start talking stupid.
Now, one shot I won't take is the flu shot because the last time I had it made me so sick.
But everybody say that, bro. They did me the same way. I don't know if I'm gonna take another one either.
Yeah.
I got put in the hospital for a month behind that flu shot.
I believe it.
Got put in there twice for a month. I ain't taking that thing no more.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
everyone. How is everyone
Good
today?
afternoon.
Hey, Diane.
Hey there, how y'all?
Has anybody had the shot for shingles?
I had.
Yes. Yeah, I
No.
had the shingles. I had the first shot. I haven't had my second one yet.
I had them all.
Tell me this. Why do you have to take this shot?
If you had
Because
chicken
if you had any childhood, what is it? Smallpox. If you had
it's chicken
smallpox
pox.
at all, then it's
Chicken
easy for
pox.
you to get. It's easy for you to get the shingles because some smallpox infection is still in your body.
Guess what?
Right. And
You
at
didn't
this
have it.
I
I
age,
ain't
know
never
I
you
had
had
the
none of
pox,
should
but
get
I
it.
took it anyhow. I took all of them. I took the shingles. I took the flu. I've been doing it now. What? Ever since they say do it, I'll be 75. Hope for December the 12th. It don't make me sick. Well, because number one, I went in with a strong body. My immune system was already up.
Guess
Yeah, I
what?
need
I
to
never
eat
had
every
none of
day
this
for my
childhood.
immune system. See, you know, and so it's all up to how you know, because that's what I was telling my daughter every time she took the COVID shot, she got sick and sicker. And even when she worked at the hospital, they gave it to her and gave her a bed to lay in. And but she got sick, and they told her, said, "There, you girl, you know what? It must be your immune system.
Yeah,
If
you're right
this
about
is
that.
what
But I
the
say
shot is
kudos.
doing to you, what would the patients do to you?
I say
You know,
kudos to anybody who hasn't caught it, because I have a sister. She works at George Washington Hospital, and and that place is flooded with people with the virus. Her daughter lives with her. Her grandbaby is 2 years old. He lived with her. Both of them got it, and she hasn't gotten it. They live in the same house, and I live in the house with 4 people, and I'm the only one that got it.
Are you for
It's,
real?
it's your immune system. It's your type of blood you have.
it is.
But you know what?
No,
I
it's the
never had
immune
any
system.
other childhood diseases.
That has something to do with your blood too.
No, it's your immune because some people, you know, they don't wash their hand after leaving the bathroom. When they get ready to eat, they ain't wash their hand or dust
Oh,
it
That's
off.
the
God,
truth.
that's
That
nasty.
is
So
the truth.
everything is going in their body, pulling the immune system, you know,
That's so
down, you know.
nasty.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
you know, you're standing there talking face to face to anybody, they sneezing, got a cold, their cold flat over
That
your
is
way.
so
Like,
true.
I
You
don't
see
care.
that
I
thing
had
on
to,
my face right there? You see
because
that
I
thing on
worked
my
around
face?
children. I worked with children for 40-some years, you know.
Me
Sneezing,
too.
coughing, spitting in my face, and I ain't never caught a cold from them because I learned then from my doctor. Say, Miss George, you better be on your immune system, or you will get pneumonia in the lungs, and the children gonna kill you. So, are you washing your desk down?
Good
So
afternoon,
I
everybody.
bleaching
Good
desk.
afternoon.
No.
Happy
Good
people.
afternoon.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Good
Fine
afternoon.
and blessed.
Yeah,
But
well,
Thelma,
that's
you
good.
right.
Man, I don't
I
see that
work with
smile on your
kids too,
face.
Highly
and
blessed and truly
Thelma, what you
blessed.
talking about? Because when you work with kids, you are exposed to a lot of things, and
Oh yeah,
I know, and it has to do with your mood. See, I have asthma. That's why I've been on the flu shot for years.
yeah.
Because I almost died from the flu, pneumonia, and asthma attack. I had all 3 at one time,
Yeah.
and
I'm
I
an
was in the
asthmatic,
hospital
but
for
I don't
10
know.
days. So
'Cause
after that,
didn't
I learned my lesson.
Yeah. Now I didn't never catch the cold from the children. And number one, like my doctor say, by you smoking cigarettes, you have allergy bronchitis, and don't even know it. You know, I had a running nose, and went to him, and they said, no, you have you suffer with sinus, and you suffer with bronchitis real bad. So I have
And
to
I
give up
just
the cigarettes and all, and I still have sinus allergy, but I've never in my life had a cold.
Well,
And
I
that's
just
because I
recently
have
found
sinus
out that
allergy
I'm
so
allergic
bad.
to pot smoking because my neighbor is smoking pot like 40 going north.
Oh my God.
And I have an oak tree and I'm allergic to the oak. So those 2 things had me sick. I couldn't talk for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How do you stand the smell of that stuff?
Well, believe me, I've tried everything. I've lit candles by the front door. I've done everything in the world that I have done. I even bought a purifier.
Okay,
You know
okay.
what?
Then
I can smell that
have you
stuff when they
tried wearing
walk
your
past
mask
my
in your
door.
house?
I
Because
can't
they
because
do
of
it
the
here.
asthma.
Huh?
I can't because of the asthma.
I have COP coat, but I can wear my mask.
But I can't breathe. I can't. But
I can't hardly neither, but I wear my mask and I wear
well, honey,
masks in the
I
house
ain't trying to
because
die up in here by myself with the cat.
Miss Ann,
they
you
have a
exactly
smoke
right
party.
because Miss Ann, you exactly right because I have
You see
asthma
what's
too.
on my face, Miss Ann, don't you? On my picture, my mask, 24/7.
Yeah,
I ain't
me
trying to
too.
catch nothing.
But Miss
I
Ann,
have
you're
my
exactly
mask
right. I have
wearing.
asthma too, and it's hard for
Well,
me
we
to wear
gonna
the
get
mask in the
something.
house. You know, I can't even breathe. I walk from here to the bathroom and can't even hardly breathe with that mask on. So you're exactly right about that because I have asthma and bronchitis.
Hey Brenda, how you doing?
And you gotta
How you
change. You
doing,
gotta change
Dolores?
those masks so
Good.
often. You can't keep wearing them
Yeah, I
all
do.
day
I put a
long.
new one on every day.
Yeah.
I wear my mask all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
I have it on right now.
But I tell you what, since they've been smoking around here, but around my building or my condo, whatever, my eyes been better.
You probably have a contact. You probably have a contact.
Now,
My
you know what?
cataract is gone.
I'm sorry. My nose is, I guess I got a long nose because I smell it when they walk past my house. And that stuff
Yeah.
makes me
Oh, it's strong.
nauseous.
It's strong.
Mhm.
It
It's
makes me
strong.
want
It's
to
strong. It's
throw
an old
up.
not used to neither. It's
Do
strong.
do you all know the
They
difference
come out here
between
and they sit in their cars, so in the parking lot in their cars. So, you know, they're up more like off the premise. So ain't nothing, you know, I could say.
do
And
you all,
three of them,
guys?
there's the
Hello.
doctor prescribe it to them, so they can't get locked up for it. Shoot.
Do you
But
all
they
know the
can get
difference
locked
And
up
they
with
taking advantage
strippers
of
and
that
stuff.
too, huh?
My
Yes,
windows
they
are
are.
tight, but it's coming through. It
But you
comes through
still
my
on
house from
government
somewhere.
property though.
Do you all know the difference between the synthetic one and the regular one? There's
Yeah,
a
but
different
also,
smell.
He's smoking stuff that's
It's a
got something
difference.
in it.
but they
Yes.
got stuff that's got embalming fluid,
Yeah.
no, oxycodone, and probably rat poison in it.
They
Oh
got
my
a whole bunch of stuff in it.
This thing.
They got this new thing out. They call it a train wreck,
Yeah, you were
where
talking
they
about
mix
that
anything of 5
last
or
week.
more drugs.
Which I'm sure she couldn't
Yep.
wait to share with Nikki and
That's
Philip.
right. And it's rough. And you know, and when I got back a brand new baby coming in my house, I've even tried to talk to him. I have a brand new great grandbaby. My granddaughter has to make an appointment to come to see her grandmother
Oh my goodness.
because he's smoking and being nasty. Then he got an attitude. He's African, and I don't have nothing against Africans because I got 3 beautiful girls working for me that are Africans, and they take good care of Aunt Dennis's butt. Believe me.
Brother, that I'm not going to back
And they
down.
treat me like I'm their mother and their grandmother.
Mhm.
But he's not speaking to them. He's from one of their countries. He's not speaking to them because he's coming in here to help me. So one of them told him, I don't care because I got a husband, and the other one told him, you ain't my type.
I'm mortgage.
Oh Lord.
Anybody in my family
So,
together. But Nikki.
and he made a case manager sick, and she's thinking about suing him.
Well, Phyllis had the idea.
Probably ain't got
I'm
nothing.
telling you, these nurses need to be on guard at all times. My sister,
Yes, they should. Yes.
and she's caught COVID twice from patients.
Okay, he's dangerous.
Okay, everyone. My son is caught it
Good
twice. He
afternoon, Miss
works at
Teresa.
Weyerhaeuser, and he's caught it twice.
How you
Good
doing
afternoon,
today,
Teresa.
Teresa?
Good
afternoon,
Good
Teresa.
afternoon,
Good afternoon,
newlywed. How are
Teresa.
you?
Afternoon.
Miss New
Blank.
Oh,
We
we gonna have to call you not Miss James anymore, huh?
Ah.
Yeah, Teresa, what is your married name?
Macintosh.
McIntosh.
Oh,
Congratulations,
McIntosh.
Mrs.
yes.
McIntosh.
Congratulations.
Yes.
James McIntosh.
Congratulations.
PJM.
You're absolutely right. So go.
Good to be back.
Good to see all you faces. I missed you all.
Miss
We missed
you
you
too.
too.
Well, we missed you too.
Miss
And we're
Teresa,
so
we miss
happy
you
for
too.
you.
Thank you. So this afternoon, we have Dr. Laura Lofton, who's coming on board. She's spoken a couple times once earlier this year and last year. And she's come to bring us some really nice mental health information and how to get through those days. And so what I'm going to do, here's a little bit here about Dr. Lofton. And Dr. Lofton has touched the lives of many through her dynamic mental health delivery. Can we get you to mute your TV, the person with the TV? Can you turn your TV off, please?
Yes, doing it now.
Thank you very much. Okay. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Her presentation will help you identify habits or patterns in your life that impact your mental health and wellness, and develop a wellness plan geared towards achieving overall health in the facets of your life. So give it up for Dr. Lofton. I'm going to hand the mic over to her at this point.
Hello.
Hello.
Afternoon, everyone.
How you doing?
See me? Let me make sure that my screen is adjusted. Having a little problem with the light, but I hope you can see me.
Yes,
You
we
can
can.
see me?
Yes.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello.
I see a familiar face. I remember a couple of faces from last couple of presentations. How was your Thanksgiving, everybody?
Wonderful. How was yours?
Wonderful.
Great, just absolutely great.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's a good time for us to reflect why we're here and look at our lives, and thankful and grateful for the people in our lives and the things that that we have. So God brought us through another Thanksgiving. So here we all are, and I am honored and privileged to bring this information to you again. A lot of what we might talk about, the things you probably experienced or thought about, or probably try to do, but didn't hang in there, all those kinds of things, because taking care of ourselves is a lifelong challenge, isn't it? To stay well, especially in the times that we live in. So hopefully and prayerfully, after today's presentation, that would not be so much of a challenge, because guess what? It's something that touches all our lives, and the more support we have, the more knowledge we have, the more information we have about how to do what we need to do better, is and reminders is good for us. So my prayer and my hope is that after the presentation today, each of us will become better at taking care of our mental health and our general well-being, because as we get on in age, as we climb older, in that number. But I'm not just saying our body is older. Well, it is kind of, but a lot of it has to do with our mental health.
Yes.
A lot of it. And so we will use this information to take better care of ourselves. Yes? All right. So let me share my screen and make sure that we can all see. Share.
Before we get into things, Dr. Lofton, how would you like your questions?
Okay, so most of the questions could be held back for after the presentation, but sometimes I can be
So you'll let us know. You'll let us know when.
Yes. I'll if I want to jump in there and I feel the notion to just ask a question, I'll do that. But I keep most of it to encourage you to keep most of your questions towards the end. And in doing so, I encourage you to take some notes.
Yeah, that looks good.
get a
Mhm.
notebook, and I don't like
I'm
the term
ready.
a piece of paper, because a piece of paper is a piece of paper and it can get lost, and so encourage you to have a notebook, so something that you can refer to, when you need to. So I'm going to make this a full screen. Let's see, remind me how to do that. So
If you'd like some assistance for that, you can
tell me, remind me.
Go to view.
The
You
view.
have view somewhere
I'm
up here.
having such a hard
The
time.
view, yeah, you're right about close to view right now. Go up
Yeah.
much more.
And
See where it says view,
yeah.
and then you want to slide. You want a slideshow. So keep going over across, and you should find where it says slide. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm just having the hardest time.
Okay, so all right, go up to the
Slide.
top where it says slideshow. I see it. It's near animation.
Oh, there it is. Yes.
Select at slideshow. Go up. Go up. One more. Select it. Did you select it?
What slideshow? I click
Go
on
in the slideshow at that moment. Once you select it.
Hit from beginning. It's the first one on the left.
from the beginning. So now I go over here.
Yeah, tap that.
So right.
You got it.
All right. Yeah. Every time I do this, I need to be reminded. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm having a little bit of challenge with the lighting on my screen. I may have to make some adjustments, but as long as you can see me.
We're seeing the slides as you should.
Good.
You're fine.
Wonderful. Okay. So and I'd like to thank Mrs. McIntosh. Note that I paused because I wanted to make sure I got I addressed her correctly, but or Miss James, thank you for the opportunity to present once again to this wonderful women and men, if there are any on today. But as we know, the topic today is mental health and wellness. So
before you get into it, we also have Alex Bell, the tech support. So you can also say thank you to him. He's
wonderful. Yeah, I need to if you see me putting my hands up like this, it's because of the light. I'm trying to minimize there we go.
I think you're fine. You just have to find now your arrows to move your slide from one to the next. And it's usually, go down to the very bottom left of your
screen. But what I want to do is take this the sidebar out with all the faces. I want to do that. Let me see. I don't want that.
I think you're fine.
Okay, now I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. So mental health and wellness. Thank you for your patience. So because of our biology, believe it or not, believe this, because of our biology, we tend to worry a lot. We tend to magnify things that concern us a lot. We tend to be fearful a lot. And so we have thoughts like being fearful. We focus on the things that disappointments that we've had. We get concerned about uncertainty, things we don't really have control of. We tend to panic about things that we're not sure. We develop anxiety about things, and many have also experienced grief. So these are different aspects or things in our lives that can cause us to just be focused on the negative. And negative things tend to make us unhealthy. And I started out by saying our biology, and it is because there are chemicals in our brain, in our body, that can cause us to be depressed or to feel overwhelmed with things. But the fortunate thing about that is that we also can turn that around. We can change that situation. We can reframe, what's called reframing, REFRAME, to change what appears to be overwhelming and negative in our lives. We can reframe that into positive thoughts. And when you have positive thoughts, it's also a biological process, because then we produce different chemicals in our body that help us to feel healthy and happy and well. So just think about that from the get-go. We can control our mental state, how we feel in our body. We can cause those chemicals to make us feel well, or we can produce those chemicals to make us feel unwell. So from the beginning, we could say, you know, I can change this. So let's get into what is mental health and wellness. So a basic definition is, it includes, and it's called multidimensional because it covers our emotional state, it covers our psychological state, it covers our social well-being. And as was read by Ms. Teresa, it affects how we think, how we feel, how we act, and it also helps us to determine how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and, you know, the choices that we make. You know, sometimes when you're feeling down and uncertain and stressed out, we can react to situations in a way that it affects others. We can get snappy. We can, you know, answer or deal with things inappropriately. And we have to be aware of these things so that we could make better choices, respond better to situations, focus on the way that we think so we can reframe how we're thinking, how we're acting. We can do all those things if we're conscious of what's happening around us. We are in control. So each person's journey towards mental wellness can be different because we all have different needs. We all have different lifestyles. We all have different goals. So it's not a cookie cutter situation. So as we go through these this presentation, these information, I'd like you to think about your own personal situation and how this applies to you and how you can change it or reframe it so that you become your best self. All right. So I'm going to start off by presenting this wheel. It's called a wellness wheel because it's multidimensional. It shows us all of the facets that control our lives, our intellectual capacity, in the environment we live in. And it doesn't have to be just trees when we speak of environmental. We'll go into some of these in a little bit, but it also means what kind of living situation you're in, what kind of people you have around you, what is the environment that you live in that you deal with. Is it a lot of negativity? Is it a lot of, you know, negative stuff, frustrating stuff, stressful stuff? All that is environmental. Social, who you hang out with, you know, places you go, and we can even add social media. You know, what kind of social media are you getting caught up with every day? Who are you listening to? Who are you talking to? What kind of information you taking in? You know, also emotional situations. How are you responding to all the different things in your life? Occupational, if you still go to work and maybe you volunteer at workplaces. Your spiritual things that you deal with. Now, when I say spiritual, the first thought tend to be religion. It has nothing to do with religion, but we'll go over that in a little bit. And also the physical aspect of your life, okay? So the wellness wheel just gives us a glimpse or a window into all of the aspects we will touch on today, and those aspects that encompass our mental health and wellness, all right? So there's some debate about how many thoughts humans have per day. And most of the information we've seen, or I've seen, it's about 10 thoughts per second. Per second, that's a lot of thoughts. And somewhere between 60,000, 70,000 thoughts per day. So no matter what the actual number is, I think that we can agree it's a lot. So just think about all those thoughts that you have. And then you go back to the understanding that most of the thoughts that we have tend to be negative. Wow. Isn't that something? So we got to really change that. When we understand that we have all these thoughts bombarding us and they tend to be negative. So we have to do something about it. So for most people, the thoughts are about what went wrong, you know, what is wrong, what could possibly go wrong. Even in people that think, well, I'm a positive person, you know, estimates put our mental chatter around 70%. That's negative. That's a lot. So and that's for persons who try to be positive about their thoughts. They're cognizant, they're conscious about thinking positive. So it's not easy, but we can manage that. We can overcome negative thoughts. So our brain, as I started out saying, has what's called a negative bias. It's natural. It looks for, it learns from, and it holds on to anything that it considers a danger or a loss with much more power than something that's natural or pleasant, neutral or pleasant. So think about it. When you reflect in your memory, if someone asks you, recall a happy moment and recall a sad moment, you can recall the sad moment almost instantly. Then you can recall the happy moment. Or if they ask you for a number of them, you will come up with much more negative than positive. Agreed? That's something that we experience. So bad memories get stored differently. They do. And they have a lot to do with hormones, which, you know, we're not getting into today, why they surface more. So it's all biological. But, you know, the good thing is that we can overcome this. So that's why so much of our subconscious is negative. So it's important to understand that there's not something just like wrong with you, as you know, as we would tend to say if we don't understand it. What's wrong with me? You know, I all I think about is negative. It's a natural thing that the brain focuses on, but we can change that again. And I'm going to keep saying that because I want that to really resonate with you. You can change negative thoughts into positive thoughts, but only if you understand the where everything is coming from. So as long as you keep though of going about your normal routine and you're not doing anything about thinking positive, guess what? Those same negative thoughts gonna keep going over and over in your mind, in your brain, because you're doing things that you've always done. You're thinking the way that you've always thought. And what you're doing is actually building or supporting those existing patterns in your brain. And you're creating the same old that, you know, so nothing's getting any better. And it's really just bringing you further down. So now that you know that we do have negative thoughts, but we're responsible of how we channel those thoughts, what we do with them, then we can have a plan. And we'll do that today. We'll figure out how to do that, how to have a plan to change those negative thoughts into positive. And then at the end of the day, we'll be a happier, healthier person. And be able to help others so. But if we keep going in that cycle of negative thoughts, eventually we'll find ourselves trapped in anxiety, in stress, depression, which your brain it's like a cycle. It's continually perpetuating. So let's pause for a few minutes, or a minute or two, to identify some thought patterns that may lead to negative thinking. Okay, remember we looked at the wheel. So I want you to think for a second. What are some of those things that we looked at on the wheel that may lead us to negative thinking? Okay, I don't want you to speak it out. Just think about that and think about your own thoughts about things that cause you to be anxious, to be stressful, to be in a state of depression. You're worried about this. Can't pay my bills. I don't know how to pay my rent next time. My sister or my brother, they're doing so well, or they live so far away and I can't get a hold of them. And just my children, I worry about how they're going to turn out. You know, all those things we tend to be mulling around in our minds. Okay, but so why do we think this way? Out of all of the things, when we look at psychologists, they look at the things that control of our emotion. Science has narrowed it down to just these 5 core basics. And, you know, it's just so surprising when you think about it. And anger is one of them. Enjoyment is one of them. Fear, disgust, sadness. They narrowed down emotion to just these core basics. Yeah, look. Enjoyment, anger, fear, disgust, sadness. Look at the positive. One, enjoyment. And the other, anger, fear, disgust, sadness. They have so much more time or space in our brain. Like I like to say, we allow it to rent space in our brain more than enjoyment. So that too it's when you look at it and you think about it, it's not just you, it's what the brain tends to want to do, but we can channel things. We can rewire. You can do that. Rewire your brain to think positive. And when you think positive, we have the chemicals called endorphins. We call them happy hormones. They flood our body with happiness, happy hormones, happy chemicals. And happy chemicals can make you healthier and well. So we can control that. But when we allow anger, fear, disgust, sadness, all those chemicals to be constantly be producing, we kill ourselves slowly. CELLS, those cells, and eventually the SELF, self. So we want to make sure that the cells, the CELLS, that are being flooded with the chemicals to make us stressful, depressed, and so on, we want to make sure those cells don't have power, or they don't, a lot of them don't exist in our body. Some different types of negative thinking include, let's go over some of the things, and it will cause us to look personally at ourselves. How do you think negatively? We may think all or nothing in that category. Believing that there's no gray area in something. For example, everything is terrible. Nothing ever happens. Nothing good ever happens. Have you ever found yourself thinking like that? Or do you know someone that thinks like that? We have this all or nothing. You know, there's no gray area. Everything's terrible. Nothing ever happens good from, you know, in my life. There's always one thing after the other. Or you think about your children or your grandchildren. You know, they don't want anything good. All or nothing. Question mark. Is that you? Or we might overgeneralize. Just put everything in a big basket and we don't look at the details. Neglecting details to support a broad negative thought, like using language like never, always, nobody, to describe events or behaviors that we experience. Is that your language? Nothing ever happens. It always does go this way. Or everybody or nobody cares about me. Or you might personalize things, thinking that you are responsible for events outside of your control. Especially if you oversee things and something went really wrong, you know, you take it all on yourself and you say, oh, it's all my fault. And, you know, I should have done this better. I should have done that better, instead of just looking at, break things up and not just taking the whole thing onto yourself, like responsible for the whole thing that went wrong. You know, we can't do that, because then we are personalizing, we're taking on more than we should, and that's not good for us. We're just doing an all or nothing thing, or we're generalizing, okay? Or we might be doing a mental filter, like focusing on one negative detail instead of a positive. So maybe you did something and one person, you know, said something bad or negative, and so you focus on that, and you don't think about all the other the positive things other people said about something. Maybe the way, someplace you went to, maybe you threw an event, a function, maybe you cooked a dinner or whatever, and one person found the fault and you just focus on that. Or maybe you might be a person that tend to want to read people's minds, deciding you know what someone else is thinking. Like, I bet blank blank hates me because they never talk to me. And that's just your own thought, your mind reading. You really don't know, and you carry these thoughts on you. And guess what? That person that you are thinking about, and you nowhere in their mind or their thoughts, and much more hating you, and you're carrying around all this information. So we got to get out of that kind of thought. Or maybe you're catastrophizing. You're believing that the worst will come to pass. Maybe you messed up a dinner and like, okay, I messed up this dinner. It didn't turn out well. I'm a terrible cook. I'm a terrible cook. I'm not doing dinner for that event anymore. I'm not doing the Thanksgiving dinner anymore. I'm not, whatever, you know, you're just looking at a situation and just putting a blanket statement over everything about yourself. And so, and the last one I want to touch on is jumping to conclusions. So we're making assumptions about things based on little or no real evidence. And we have a lot of examples that, you know, we can go into, and I let that purposely blank. So you can ask your mind, go into your mind and say, what do I jump to conclusions about when I really don't have a lot of evidence, or something, not enough evidence to make a decision. I need to have more information to have a conclusion. You know, have you ever asked yourself that? Well, I really don't have all the information, so I can't make a decision about this, or I can't make an assumption about this. Even though your mind might want to take you another place, you got to be in control and say, no, I don't have enough information, so I'm not going to make any assumption about this. And you might, you know, think that it's trivial when you make assumptions about maybe what people are thinking or so on. When you do that, you're still bringing a negative thoughts into your mind. You're still producing negative chemicals rather than staying away from those thoughts. You know, they're still permeating you. So these patterns can permeate our minds and hold us back. And when we think negatively, we are less creative, we're less productive, and we may even manifest health problems that keep us from working altogether. Positive thinking and success are linked. So these statements about negative thinking, when we think negatively, we are less creative, it can paralyze you. And I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. It can make you just focus on whatever it is. It's in your mind 24/7, and you become a person that's more and more paralyzed into doing your daily function, being creative about what, your life, your work, your family, your home. You're so focused on this thing, it drains you. You become less productive. Your health, as it says here, you might have health problems because why? It's the biological and the chemicals are being produced, and the chemicals are permeating your cells. So positive thinking and success is linked. Just the opposite, going the opposite way. If you're a positive thinker or you encourage positive thinking, then you become more creative, you become more productive, and your health is better. So let's look for a moment at some easy ways to reframe our thoughts. First of all, we want to modify our thought patterns and counteract the negative statements in our heads, okay? So you say, counteract the negative statements in my head. I have to counteract it. When I hear myself thinking negatively, or even it coming out of your mouth, you have to change that. And that's easier said than done. I understand that. And sometimes from a lifetime of speaking negative thoughts, without really realizing, it's harder to change it, but it can be done. Scripturally, the Bible, I want to reference that because a lot of people write books and they use statements that are actually from the Bible, like gurus, as a man thinketh, so is he. Remember that, those statements, Stephen Covey and a lot of other gurus. Guess what? That's in the Bible. Another statement, well, actually, this is actually a scripture. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So you're speaking whatever's coming from your mind, from your thought process, your heart. You're bringing it out into the atmosphere. So if you have a tendency to be negative, you are putting that negative energy into the atmosphere. And I know it sounds all, new age and all that, but it's actually something that happens. You put that negative thoughts out in the environment around you, and that's what starts to generate. So just imagine if you have positive thoughts, then those positive thoughts will permeate your environment and good things will happen. Your health will be better as opposed to negative thoughts. So you have to actively, I still do it. I might want to say something negative and then I realize I chew my own words. Literally, I go, I'm not thinking that way. I'm not thinking that way because I realize that that's not good for me. I'm not putting that energy into the atmosphere. And even if you know that it's something that it seems obvious, I want to change it. I'm looking right at it. What do you want me to say? I see it negative. I see the bad thing. Don't you want me to say it? Yeah, you can actually change that thought. You can say things like, I am full of energy. It's when you're feeling so weak and so tired and you're smiling because you know that you're actually feeling the other way, but you're putting the positive into the atmosphere. And when you repeat those statements, those affirmations, and we'll talk about some of those later, it actually begins to gain strength, and you're rewiring your brain. So I am full with energy. I am full of energy. I am strong. And so your thought patterns can counteract the negative statements in your head. So things like, I believe I am strong enough to get well again, especially if you're going through something. Not, oh, poor me, I am so sick, nobody's coming to see me. You can't nurture those statements. They will bring you down. They will produce negative chemicals, and they will make you unwell even more. So you're still responsible for the things that you can control, your thought process, which you can control more than you think, because when you think positive, those positive chemicals, those endorphins will produce. See how much control you have? Trust the process and take control of my path to recovery. You can say things like that. I'm going to take control of my path to recovery. I'm going to focus on what I need to do to get better. I'm going to increase my confidence. I'm going to see myself as a beautiful person. I don't care what I've been told all my life or what I think I see when I look in the mirror. I see myself as a beautiful person. I know a woman, she'd get up every day and she'd look in the mirror and she'd say, "Oh, honey, you look so beautiful today. You look so beautiful today." And she's looking at it in the mirror. So it's a training, it's a conversion, it's a reframing, and you have to believe it though. It might be hard in the beginning, but eventually you will say it and you will see the change. It is a powerful thing. You are powerful. We are powerful we are powerful beings, and we are powerful, and we have control in our wellness more than we think or have been taught to believe. We can say things like, stay focused on achieving my health goals. Don't get side railed, not because my mom had this, my sister had this, my dad had this, my cousin had this. Oh, it runs in the family. You can't have those kind of thoughts because they set you back. Do you want to nurture those negative thoughts? No, we have to become stronger at achieving positive things. We don't have to go down that road. It is not set for us. We can change that, but we have to take action. We have to motivate ourselves to take action. We have to persevere to make progress, because it's not going to be easy in the beginning, but guess what? It becomes easier and easier. Okay, so these are just some ways of how to refrain your negative thoughts. All right, so it all takes the form of a wellness plan. We are in control, and a wellness plan is geared towards achieving overall health in all of those facets we talked about: emotional, psychological, mental, social, physical, all of those areas, occupational, and so on. All of those facets in our lives, it's called multi-dimensional. Okay, so wellness plan takes into consideration all these aspects, spiritual as well. So ask yourself a few questions. Asking yourself a few questions can help you discover, the opportunities that you can put in place and create goals accordingly. Okay, so let's take a look at the mental wheel again. Examples of these areas: environmental, financial, intellectual, emotional, spiritual. All of those areas we can make changes so we can become our better selves. So let's get excited. So get excited with me and start sharing your thoughts, if I call on you, about how a person in general can help improve their health and wellness in each of these areas in our lives. Okay, so let's break it down. Physical health. We know that it includes medical wellness. Okay, our fitness levels, our sleeping patterns, our recreational activities. So we ask ourselves some questions like, what is my fitness goal? What is my plan for fitness? Am I, a person that's very stationary? I don't do walking. I may go to the store. I don't do much in terms of focusing on fitness. So let me look at myself a little bit. Do I, jump on the scooter every time I go to the store, especially if I'm just going for a few things? Or can I just maybe use my cane if I have to and just get a little exercise? Can I change that? Have a heart-to-heart with yourself. The other question is, are you at a healthy weight? That is challenging because guess what? In the United States, it used to be a size 14. That was the average weight. Now it's higher. And that's because we're not focused on so much on how we eat. Do I read labels? Am I taking in, excess, maybe saturated fat? We need some fat in our body, so we can't eliminate all of the fat. But am I taking in too much, saturated fat? Like you might say, what is this? This is a type of fat, and I see a spelling error there. What is saturated fat? Do you read the labels of things? Do you eat things? Yeah, because, well, I grew up on this thing. My family ate it. It's in our culture. And, I just like it. You don't have to not eat any certain things. You just have to minimize how much you eat and how often you eat it. And a lot of the things that we grew up on may not be good for us. But guess what? It didn't affect maybe our ancestors as much, our parents as much, because what they grew up came right from the farm, from the garden. It was not packed with all the chemicals that today's food has, all the preservatives to keep it. And so that's what's making the big difference. They may have taken a lot of sugar, but it was different. So we have to be conscious about that. So when we ask ourselves, are we at a healthy weight? We got to look at that. And, it's a constant thing, but as long as we're doing something about it. Do you smoke? Do you drink to excess? Do you take recreational drugs? Do you get adequate amount of sleep? And so those are some of the things that are going to affect your physical health or your nutritional health. Again, some of the things I said included that. Your nutritional habits, they support your lifestyle. Do you eat plenty of whole foods, vegetables, fruits? Do you drink enough water? And I know, I'm working on some of these things. I need to drink more water. So it's a constant thing. We're never completely there. We can always do better, but we have to start somewhere. We can't feel so guilty that it's too late, can't do anything about it. Been doing it all my life. I ain't changing anything. We can't do that. We have to get to the mindset where it's never too late to start. It's never too late to make a difference, and just one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Read your labels if you haven't done that before or not in a habit of doing that. The fruits and the veggies, drinking more water, things like that. Little steps that will become habitual and easier to accomplish if we do them more regularly. Yes? Mental wellness. That includes how we deal with stress and how we manage our emotions, as I mentioned before. So what emotions do you feel most often, and how do you cope with them? You deal with the negative stuff like more than ever. We have to get a hang of that, get a hold of that, and just minimize that, because we know it tends to be that way because of our biology. So we can control that. We know if we're going down a path and you come to a fork and one says negative and one says positive, our bodies, our minds are trained to go down the negative path. We have to stop and say at the fork, I'm going the positive way. It has to be a conscious decision until we train and we rewire our brains. So what emotions do you feel most often, and how do you cope with it? Are you able to let little things go, or do you dwell on them? Very important questions, because whatever we dwell on, that's gonna be our main focus. Do you feel overwhelmed by occurrences in your life, like overwhelmed? And that's, that could be a general statement, but if we break it down and look at ourselves, things happen in each of our life. And there are things that are outside of our control. And we have to get to the point where we understand that, well, that's something that's sad. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. And how do I move on from it? How do I move on from it? We have to ask ourselves these questions. We really have to be more conscious of how we think. Spiritual wellness. And as I said, that has less to do with religion or about religion, and more about having values and beliefs that provide a purpose for our life and the place we are in the world. So it's not about, which church you belong to and, which religion you support and stuff like that, but it's more about your values and your belief that gives you a purpose in life. Are you able to spend time or, reflecting on things by yourself? Thinking about, your spiritual well-being. What are my values? What are my belief system in life? And you may not use those words, but you may, think about, how do I deal with things in my life? How do I deal with challenges? What am I gonna do with these thoughts that I have that keep coming back to me? How can I make my life better? Do you feel fulfilled in your life? Those kinds of questions. And that has to do with spiritual wellness. Are you doing things in your life that are aligned with what you believe, with your belief system? Those are things that help you to be at peace with yourself, not your like something else is running the show or other people's running the show. And yeah, when I move out of here, I'll be able to have more control. Or when I, don't have anything to deal with this situation anymore, then I'll, you can change that today to how you feel about things and what you let go and what battles you choose, emotional wellness. That means you're attentive to your thoughts, your feelings and behaviors, as well as to the feeling of those around you. So if you're in a good state of mind and you're focused on yourself, you have, it impacts those around you. So you can't be okay with just yourself, but what you spew out of your mouth affects somebody else. You know, you can't be putting down other people just because, well, I know who I am, and I. You have to be concerned about the people around you and how what you say affect them. Are you accepting of your feelings and able to remain positive despite, you know, the unpleasant moments? How is your self-esteem? Do you have healthy relationships and friendships? Do you hang around people that are just negative and you want to just run away from them? If you have someone or people in your life that all they talk about is other people, they gossip, they don't see the positive, or it's all about them and nobody else, those are things that affect your mental health and will affect you if you hang around with those people, because then it becomes part of who you are, becomes part of your space, it's part of your realm. And, you know, you don't need to take that on if you're going to pay attention to your being a positive person. So intellectual wellness is a practice of engaging in creating, you're creating it, and mentally stimulating things, activities that could put you in a good place. It includes analytical thinking, because you're looking at things analytically. What can I do to make this better? If I change this, if I change what social media I read, or the things that I post, or how much time I spend on social media, or who I hang out with and the people, you know, and the things that they say, or learning and about problem solving. How can I solve this problem that keeps reoccurring? Or if it happens again, how will I deal with it? How will I handle it? You know, it's not all about you as a person. Well, you know, well, I got a right to be this and I this, that, and that. It's still going to affect the people in your space, and it's gonna bounce back on you. So let's look at, if you know, professional health. If you're a person you're still in your career, still doing things, maybe you're volunteering, and I mean, you have a part-time job, whatever it is it something that fulfills you? Are you just getting up feeling really horrible? I gotta go to that place again today. I don't like going to that place. And you know, those kinds of thoughts. Are you know, do you feel appreciated? Do you feel well compensated? Are you confident in your ability to do your job, and mentally stimulated by what you do? You excited about going to that place today? What can I do today at my place of work, or where I volunteer, or whatever it is that you do outside of your home? Do you ask questions? What can I do today to make things better, you know? And then we have financial wellness, which impacts every single person. You know, are you living within your budget? Are you able to build up a nest egg for the future? Do you have maybe debts and loans from way back that's just hanging over your heads? And this is for the student loans, maybe for a younger person. You know, do you have credit card debt that's just overpowering? And just those things can really bring you down if you focus on them. If they just you don't seek out ways to problem solve, to resolve them, they're not going to go away by themselves. And you want to live within the means, so that you can have better control, because when you live it outside of your means, it's always the external thing controlling you. I know a person that once said, well, not because you have checks in your checkbook means you have money in your account. I thought that was funny, and I interject that for some humor, you know. So we have to live within our budget, or like my grandmother used to say, don't hang your hat where you can't get it. you can't reach it. Those are just some sayings that means that we really need to live in our means, do the things that we have control of, so we don't be feeling stressed out because of our financial situations. We really sometimes need to take a look at how we can better manage that, you know, make some changes, etc. Yeah. And lastly, environmental wellness is a respect for and for being in harmony with your environment, including your personal space, your community, and in general, the planet. Do you spend enough time in nature, getting sunshine and air? You know, did you know that we need a minimum of 8 minutes of sunshine every single day so that our vitamin D could be activated in our bodies? Vitamin D is a very, very important chemical to help to sustain us and make us well, build our immune system. Just go outside and sit for 8 minutes in the sunshine. And it may not be sunshine like the hot sunshine, but we get the sunshine, even we get the ultraviolet rays that help us. Minimum of 8 minutes, you know, fresh air. Are you surrounded by a tidy environment, comfortable environment? Do you know chaos causes the mind to be chaotic too? When there's stuff just all around us, we can't move around. Are you comfortable? Those things like calm and peaceful environment enables the brain to function better. Do you make a conscious effort to save energy or to reuse things, excuse me, reuse or recycle? You know, do you participate in community affairs? And, you know, those are some questions. So now that you've asked and answered these questions, it's time to decide what goals you'd like to establish. And the main thing is to keep them achievable, start a little at a time, and be realistic about them, and have short-term and long-term goals. Write down your goals and choose the one that you could begin working on immediately. So you don't, yeah, you could write down short-term goals and you can write down long-term goals, but you want to start with the short-term goals where you can see progress really quickly, you know, and then it gives you, it boosts your confidence, as you know, when you can say, yeah, I did that. It's like your to-do list. That's what that translates into your to-do list, and you can check it off. And you know the high you get when you check off your to-do list. I got this done, I got that done. Yeah, I'm on my way. It's the same thing. You know, choose a goals for having a better life, a better self, better you, and choose just a small amount to achieve at a time, you know, and because you don't want to feel overwhelmed. Don't choose something that's long-term, that is way down the road, that's it'll take a long time for you to, you know, even see any progress. You don't want that. That'll be a downer, and that's not good. Which some of these things I know that, you know, these are just reminders to you and things that you really need to take another look, because you're in this presentation today because you want to make a conscious change in your life. Take a look at the health and wellness of your being. You know, be sure to always work on different areas so your life remains balanced. So when one area is neglected, you know, gosh, I'm focusing on this, as I don't have time for that. That's gonna bug you too. Yeah, the other little voice in your head, I gotta get this done over here. What's the point? You know, so for example, when your relationships are out of balance, it can impact your physical and emotional well-being. So try to be balanced in what you're working on. Don't spend too much time over here and then you neglect over there. It's gonna be the same thing, you know? So here's a mental health tip. For your mental wellness plan to work, you'll need to track and measure your goals. Use a calendar or something where you can see or track your progress. Okay, you have to get that in the beginning, set that up where you can track your progress and how you're progressing. Here are some tips to stay accountable to your wellness plan. Keep track of your progress. with a journal, make notes on how you feel, and commit to journaling 2 to 3 times a week. Write it down in that special notebook. And then ask yourself, are you feeling happier or more content as you go through that process? Do you feel physically stronger? You have more stamina if you're doing a fitness goal thing? Are you losing weight if that's what you're working on? Is that weight body fat, or are you just losing muscle? Because sometimes our weight could stay the same if you're exercising, but it's not fat, it's muscle. So seeing the numbers of pounds and percentage of your body fat lost or your muscle increase can be, it can be motivational for you and give you that fire, that spark to continue. Update and tweak your plan as you go, because there are things that's going to happen in your life that you don't have control of. So you might have to go away somewhere for a week or make some changes in how you do things. So you might have to update and tweak your plan. Some goals may take more or less time than you plan. So adjust that accordingly. Something's easier to accomplish because of something you've already done, you're already doing, something that you've just been been wanting to do, and you finally got going and it's easier. So make adjustments. So if something isn't working, don't be afraid to adapt your plan, do something that works better for you. Situations can change and you might want to adjust that as well. And when you reach a goal, think about how you feel, that high that you get, like that checkoff list, do you want to lose more weight? Do you want to work on a new fitness? Do you want to save more money if it's a financial goal? And create new goals as you go. And then sometimes if we have a buddy system, a support system, a family member, a professional, it can make things easier, especially if you haven't done anything like what we're trying to do. It's just hook up with somebody who has the same goal, the same aspiration, and you support each other. I mean, simple as going for a walk together at a certain time of the day, or going to the gym, or whatever it is, or eating different, or encouraging the person. It's a person, if you're out with them and you want to buy this or purchase this, you remind them, this is not good for us. Let's maybe switch and buy something else. Somebody that you respect their opinion, and you don't look at it as they're telling you what to do. So remember, your mind is the window to your body, to your soul. So we need to feed it and nourish it. The brain is a powerful thing. Your mental state not only controls your consciousness, but also determines how your body functions. I'm sure that has resonated with you more and more as we went through this presentation. Stress, grief, depression, all those things can have negative effect on your mental health. And we know that it can have such an impact that it can lower your life expectancy by at least 10 to 15 years. And we can change that if we have a conscious plan to make change in our lives. Studies have found that a habit of prolonged negative thinking diminishes your brain's ability to think, to reason, to form memories. Wow. If you're a person that just in that negative stream, just all the time, it physically does something to your brain. And your ability to think and reason, all that is depleted, draining your brain's resources. And another study reported that in the Journal of American Academy of Neurology found that cynical thinking also produces a greater dementia. So we have control. We've got to make changes. We need to make the change that we need in our lives to have the better us. Some sadness is normal, some despair is not. Look at the difference. Sadness is normal, despair is not. Despair is when you find yourself in an unending cycle of continual sadness, like nothing's working well. I'll never do this, or nobody ever this, or it always that, always on the negative. If you find yourself deep down in something like that, get some help. You might be able to talk to a therapist, maybe talk to a positive friend, somebody that you know that their way of thinking is different. Maybe, maybe a pastor or somebody. Just seek some help. There's no shame in it, and you can do it. I remember growing up, we used to be told, there's no word like can't in this house. In your grammar, you can do it. So you can do it, and you can make that change. So let's chat, and thank you so much for putting up with me, listening to my voice over and over, maybe telling you things you already know, maybe you practice, but let's chat. Over to you, Teresa.
Okay, I'm now looking, I see one hand up, and that is Diane Leach. Go ahead and unmute and ask your question, Diane.
My it's not a question, it's more a statement.
A statement. Okay.
I was diagnosed as the manic depression many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in, I've been had psychiatry help for over 40 years. And what I learned was I had to accept my responsibility, which was in me. See, I didn't make mistakes. I made choices.
Mm-hmm.
Choices in my life that dictated what went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So once I realized that I was making the choice,
mm-hmm.
and I got back into the Bible,
mm-hmm.
because I gave up God also. And once I got back in God and started praying and asking for his help, and my co-workers helped me in that.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I stopped taking the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I improved. That's why I said I didn't make mistakes, I made choices.
Yes.
And I think about the choices now that I make. I still get depressed, but I pray, and I pray every day. And I ask God to keep me strong and healthy. So you that's what you have to think about. That's all I have to say.
Hello.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane.
Yep.
Hold on a second.
We now have Dolores Washington. Go ahead, Dolores, unmute.
Yes, mine also is a statement. I noticed when you was speaking to us, I was taking down some notes. And one of the things that really stuck out with when you say most of the thoughts we have seem to be negative, and we need to change those thoughts and make them more positive. And I wrote down and say, start thinking more on positive thoughts to help improve your thinking process and learn to be more happy with yourself. And I wrote down a few things. I said, at least once a day, do or say something that would make you happy. Like tell yourself a joke, or sing a song, or do a crazy dance. Say a kind word to someone, or just smile and thank God for the day. And then I also made a statement when you was when you had mentioned something about how to reframe your thoughts and be more positive. And I can't think of the movie, but I tell myself, and I looked in the mirror when you made that statement, I had to smile on that, because I look in the mirror and I say, I am strong to get well, solve problems, and clean the house, eat healthy, and exercise more, which I definitely exercise because I, like to move around in the house. And then I also say to tell yourself, I am beautiful, I am smart, and I am kind. And that would, get my day started. So I just wanted to share that, when you was talking, that just hit home for me. And it does help.
Yes, awesome. What a beautiful example. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Yes, wonderful. If you can do it, so can others.
Okay, so now we have Pauline Harris. Go ahead and unmute, Pauline.
Good morning. I'm sorry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Doctor, do you have a office? Do you see patients?
I am in Florida.
Oh God.
It is
Wow.
Florida, but you know, a lot of things are done online these days. So it could be done. So you can give your information to Teresa, and we'll hook up. We'll talk. We'll see.
Well, I have PTSD.
Okay.
I was abused by my mother as a child. And now I just made 70 Thanksgiving Day, 70 years old. And and this happened when I was like 3. And I have done everything under the sun. I've been to doctors, I had medication, I've been through it all. And I just can't get over. It could be something that somebody just say and they'll trigger it, trigger my PTSD. And I noticed I have to form some kind of mechanism to calm down. And I have this song my uncle used to sing to me all the time, and it's Father alone will know all about it. Father alone will understand why. Cheer up, my brother, live in the sunshine. He'll understand it all by and by. That helped me.
Amen.
But now it's not. I don't understand why. So I need to talk to somebody. If you can't help me, do you know somebody here in the DC area that can?
So when you said, but now, so that doesn't work for you anymore?
It's not work to me. It's not calming me down like it used to.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and my memory is getting
Well, it's just so just give your information to Miss Teresa, and we'll hook up. Sounds like a plan?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
Thank you for sharing, Pauline. Very bold of you to share. Anybody else with anything they'd like to comment, share, question? I don't see any hands raised.
Just share some of the things that perhaps you we've heard so far that you might do or have done, or maybe some challenges that you're having, and you'll discover it's not you alone, so it doesn't have to be a big thing either. So the floor is open, as Teresa says. Let's make this this time count. So raise those hands.
Yeah, we also have a question. We have a hold on a minute. We have a question from Edward Wooton. Are there any groups that we can attend in the DC area? Now, Edward, I don't know of any offhand, but what I can do is to contact Alice Thompson, who is our DACO representative there. And she did mention to me if we need any mental health additional information or resources, she'd be more than willing to help us with that. So I will refer, I'll get the information from Alice Thompson and see where we can go from there. Okay.
All right.
That is for Edward Wooten. Any other? I see some hands went up since then. We got Jackie Cook.
Yes. How you doing? I just like to say, since I have been through some really some difficult situations, I was diagnosed with PSTD, and I found a group called Iona, operates off of Wisconsin Avenue in Northwest, and it's a senior bereavement group that I attend, and I've been attending for the last 3 years. So there are groups out there for specifically for seniors for different situations, and I was recommended by my pastor. My pastor recommended the group, and I've been attending ever since. So if you think you do need help, or you do need help, I'm saying there are resources out there for seniors. Yes.
All right. Thank you for sharing, Jackie.
All right. I see Diane Leach. Your hand is up again. Go ahead, Diane.
Yeah. Doctor, I wanted to ask the question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is it that sometimes you can hear a song and it takes you back and makes you cry. And then you can hear it another time and you're all right with it.
Well, it depends on what you're doing at that time, I would say. What's happening in your life at that moment when you're hearing the song, because things do trigger certain memories, and there are lots of times when it might be you might just look at something, like you said, you hear a song, but it's what's going on in your life. That's how you can grab it. Grab the bull by the horn, so to speak, at that moment. What is going on in my life that caused this song to trigger this memory? And then so you can foresee, when you can see, you can anticipate is a better word. Well, I'm going to be involved in this, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be whatever, and I might have these thoughts, and then you have a plan of how you're going to react to it. So it's what is going on in your life at that time, and your health, your thought process, your frame of mind, and a lot. Don't forget the physical health of your body, that too, because when that's not functioning really well, everything else, it impacts everything else. So think about what was going on in my life when I got triggered, when I heard that song. Well, what was I doing? And so anticipate that, so it doesn't come down like a ton of bricks.
Yes.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, that helps a great deal.
Good.
Okay, we've got a question or a comment from Gloria Johnson. Go ahead, Gloria.
Yes.
Hi, Gloria.
I'm laughing to myself. My situation is this. I feel most of my life I have been an adult before my time. It's like people just depend on me. It seems like just family member, friends, anybody just depend on me. And in the process of the depending on me, I have had family members and friends who have called and asked, could I please come see them? They might be in a hospital or something. And I was unable to get to them, and they passed like that day or the next day. And I started feeling guilty about it. Then the other part came along, when it's like, if I'm down or upset or stressed or something, everybody looks at me like, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? Or why are you upset? You crazy? You losing your mind? And so I like hold everything in. I don't know how to release it or let go of it. And then there's the other situation is like for instance, now, my mom is 91. I'm 71. I have a lot of health issues and I can't get to her. We live in different places and I can't get to her to take care of her and do the things that I want to do for her and need to do. How do I bring myself out of that depression or anxiety or things that I nothing I can, I can't control it.
Okay.
So how do I make myself feel better about it?
So thank you for that question. So the bottom line is that how you approach everything, which is what we want to fix here. So first of all, you can't please everyone. You can't do everything. So for example, for everyone at the time that they need it. Okay, so you're not like a free agent with no concerns of or responsibilities or whatever of your own. You have things that you need to take care of and you can't take care of. You can't meet everyone's needs at the same time. And so your thinking, you have to change your thinking when you can't fulfill a need that someone has and not feel guilty about it. And I know that that can happen. Like for instance, my husband's a pastor, and there are times when he's called on to go visit someone or at the hospital and he doesn't make it, and then the person passed, And so I understand where you're coming from with those thoughts, but you have to recalibrate yourself and say, well, you had good intentions. You prayed for that person. You prayed for them, even though you weren't able to go see them. So you did what you could do. You're not this being that has all of this energy and everything. You have to take a look at yourself and say, I am a good person.
Yeah, all you could do,
I
that's
do
it.
a lot of things for people, and I can't meet everyone's need. I can pray for them if I can't see them. And so you have to change your thought process. That is like the bottom line. And the thing about your mom, I think your last statement where your mom is somewhere else. Am I getting that right? She doesn't live where you are?
We're living, we're in DC, but she bless her heart, she lives lower Northwest and I'm upper Northwest. The problem is she has ongoing Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay, I have the disability is I can't walk long distance because I have COPD. Excuse me, I'm sorry. My asthma's been acting up and stuff too. So it's like she can call me and say, can you come? I need you right now, And because of my disabilities and things, I can't get to her right then and there. So then I'll start feeling bad. My mind start be running a mile a minute. Like, oh my God, is she okay? She doesn't want to trust the home health care person she got. In my mind, I'm thinking she feels that nobody can do anything for her but me.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to make the assumption, you'll correct me, that you've already looked into living near where she is. So the journey won't be, and that didn't work out. So now when mom calls and say, I need you right away, is she of the understanding that you're far away and you can't get there? She's not. So you have to really look at it where you can't explain it. You can say it to her, she may or may not understand it. You can't get there. If you are doing everything in your ability to help her, calling her every day, or as often as you can, asking her how she's doing, those are things that you can control. That it doesn't take getting in a car or anything like that. You do that. Make it a thing where you can call her every day or a certain time of day or every other day. So that's going to put you in a place where you're more in control of what's happening over there than just being there, being able to run over there when you can. But being just, if she has the capacity to know who you are when you call.
Right. See, the thing is, like I go see her, as much as I can. And when I can't get there, my daughters, one live in Maryland, another one lives in Virginia. They'll come here and, try to go see about it. I call her like 2 and 3 times a day, to check on her and stuff like that. But it's just that when I can't get to her, or like if I called and she don't answer the phone for like 3 or 4 hours or over the course of the night or something, then it bothers me.
Okay. So that's the part that you got to control. Okay. You have to create a new mindset that my mom has what she needs to take care of her. I'm only part of it. I'm not the whole thing. You can't take on the whole thing and say that I am. She's completely dependent on me. She has her other sisters, she has the caregivers, and you are doing what you can. You have to change your mindset and say, I am doing what I am able to do. And I'm praying for my mom. You have to accept that your mom has other people that is involved in her health outside of you. You have to, this is something you got to work with in your mind. So it's not just you. If it were you, you'd be planted right there in that house, but you're not. So there are the workers, you have to come to the understanding that there are other people there, and I am doing everything that I can. And you have to really be doing what you can. You call and be satisfied with that. You have to understand that she has other people outside of you. You have to accept that. You have to understand that, and and believe it, that you're doing everything that you can. That's all. Really, that's what you have to work at. That's the meat of what you got to put your energy into fixing that, and then everything else will fall into place.
So I can say to myself and believe that I am part of my own problem.
Yes, I'm saying that to you indirectly.
That's what most of us is. We're part of our own problem.
I'm saying that to you indirectly. Your mindset. I mean, all of us here with the health and wellness, it's all in, we're in control. So yes, but you have to believe that she has other helpers outside of you. And she's getting that help, and you're doing what you can to make sure that happens.
Yeah, help yourself and you help her.
Okay. And you got you to take care of. If you're not well, what's going to happen?
That's right.
So that's, rewire that thinking.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So Dr. Lofton, you're like 7 minutes past your exit time, but we do have a couple hands up if they can make it brief.
Okay.
And we'll start with Brenda McManus, and then we'll go to Stance Anderson.
Yes, thank you. Dr. Lofton, once again, you have presented a great presentation to give us something to think about. And I agree with you wholeheartedly regarding positive thinking and success, which are linked, and they are.
Yes, ma'am.
And I also, like Dolores, I do the look in the mirror and do the positive affirmation. I say, good morning, beautiful, and you're going to make a great day. And I praise myself, and I try not to surround myself with negative people with negative thoughts, because I don't have time for that. I don't, I really don't have time for that. But I really think that this presentation is wonderful, and I love it. I enjoy it to the utmost. Yes.
Amen.
And
praise God.
like I said, you give us something to think about and to incorporate in our lives. So
yes, ma'am. Amen. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. And our final one is Stance Anderson. You're on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm unmuted, right?
Yes, you are.
I can hear you.
Okay, yes. I just wanted to share a couple of tools that I have in my toolbox to help me with, life itself. And that's the serenity prayer.
Yeah.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. When I say that, after, you know what I'm saying, whatever situation comes up or whatever, I'm with that, right? And then another one too is hope. Don't get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. When you are either one of those, then your attitude will be changed. So you have to take a look at yourself and say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay, no wonder I'm having problems right now. I'm hungry. And sometimes that meant I have to keep a little crackers in my glove compartment, because those things, when you're too tired, that's when you know what I'm saying, either people piss you off or you piss them off. So you have to kind of look at what part am I playing? What do I need to do so that I can have a good time with this person?
That's so true.
Thank you.
Amen. What a wonderful, yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. And if Teresa, if you could just allow me just a couple seconds to just give some final pointers that we can do with some of the things, the takeaways, you know, affirmations that we repeat to ourselves daily. And some of what we mentioned, you can even put them on put them the little stickies, put them on your mirror, because you look in your mirror every day, right? Put it in the kitchen, put it on your stove, on your refrigerator, so to remind you, put it in your phone, you know, put it in your desktop.
Oh, help me to remember
So
that.
write them down, just write it everywhere you look, you see these affirmations, the more and more you say it, but you gotta be actively doing it. You can't just, oh, let me see in this book what I wrote down. No, you gotta make it a wallpaper, write it down. So everywhere you run into it, oh, there it is. And you say it all the time, becomes part of you. Thank you so much for letting me share. Say, I'm filled with excitement when I look in the mirror. Amen. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for letting me share today.
I think Angela Robinson, you had something you wanted to share real fast.
I just wanted to mention that there's a couple of apps, and I don't know if the doctor is familiar with them. There's a mindfulness coach that the VA has for PTSD. And there's also another app I found. I don't know if it's a good one, but it's about CBT. It's a thought diary for journaling. And I was just wondering if you have any apps or online journaling tips that you could refer us.
Well, some of the general ones that you mentioned, and you could access a lot of affirmations as well. There are so many online where you can play them every day, and they recommend that you play them over and over. They even have apps for financial success, you know, just apps for anything. There's so many apps that you can access based on if you want something general or something specific, and you play them over and over. There are many that you can Google. So don't just feel like you're lost. Just like you Google something you want to find out, get on your phone and Google daily affirmations. And if you want it to be specific, daily affirmations for XYZ. So there are many out there.
Okay, yes, thank you. Would everyone give it up for Dr. Lofton?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Lofton.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Lofton.
You're
We
welcome.
really
Thank you, Dr.
appreciate
Lofton.
Thank you,
all your
Dr.
words
Lofton.
and
You're
great
welcome. It was a
presentation.
pleasure today. Yes, it was a pleasure. God bless
Very
you.
productive.
I enjoyed every time.
Please come back
Thank
again.
you.
She has
Yes,
one more
ma'am.
session this month.
Thank
It'll
you.
be the last Thursday of December. She'll be back on.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Wonderful, wonderful.
All
And you
right.
have a big happy group when you return.
Yes.
Amen. Praise God. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. God
Ladies,
bless you.
God bless you too. And have a
Yeah,
really
God
happy
bless you.
Christmas, because we'll see you after that. So
All right.
God bless
Merry
you.
All
Christmas
right.
to you.
Stay healthy, stay strong,
Thank
and
you, Miss
remember those.
Teresa. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thank you. God bless y'all.
God bless you. Remember those
Thank
affirmations.
you.
Everybody, God
Thank
bless you.
everybody. God
Have
bless
a
you
good
all.
morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
In the morning, I have a special session tomorrow on Safari, browsing Safari, how to use Safari as your browser
All right.
search engine. So make sure to tune in at 10:30?
10:30.
Yeah, and learn more about Safari browsing. Okay?
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
we'll see you
Okay.
then,
Thank you.
Teresa.
Love
Love
Bye.
you all. Be
Love you.
careful.